Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I've got a bit of a different book today. We are doing The Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff. And the reason why I say it's a bit different is because it's really light, cute and funny. And you don't often say that about a book that was longlisted for the Women's Prize. But this book was, and instead of being something quite heavy and emotional, it's taken a very serious subject, and Parini has done it with such lightness, such verve, such tongue-in-cheek humour that I have to share it with you because it's fantastic. The Bandit Queens. We are in rural India, and we are with a group of women in rural India who are part of a microfinance loan group, and it's largely headed by a woman called Geeta. Geeta is a middle-aged woman who was once married, but her husband vanished some years ago, and all the gossip in the village has always been that Geeta murdered her husband, and Geeta's never chosen to disprove or address those rumours because it's kind of given her a little bit of autonomy. And that fundamentally is what this book is about. It's about what it takes for a woman to have agency in rural India. Now, this is a very powerful subject and very weighty, and there's a lot to excavate about this in an intellectual sense. But Parini has taken this really weighty subject matter and instead brought about a real dark comedy. Because what we have is this group of women with Geeta trying to keep their repayments going on their loan group. When one woman is beaten one time too often by her violent husband, she turns to Geeta and asks Geeta to help her kill her husband. Thinking Geeta obviously murdered her own husband, can Geeta help her kill hers? This starts a chain of events that will change the lives of this small group of women trying to find themselves a little bit of autonomy, a little bit of respect and a little bit of space in this very challenging landscape. It is very darkly funny. It has a lot of big scenes that are very witty, but it also is a really interesting reflection on women's friendships and women's relationships. This group of women do not have easy relations with each other. There are petty jealousies, there are histories, childhood enemies. There's a lot here, and of course then we bring in things such as religion, we bring in caste, and suddenly this adds levels. Parini addresses these with really light touch. So she really reflects this, but doesn't ever let her story get weighed down by it, and instead keeps a brilliant speed all the way through to a great finale, and an unexpected one as well. What was interesting about this book that I really reflected on is I read this book, I think I've read a couple of books since, and one of the interesting things I've reflected on is how well the characters are drawn in this book, because I've read a couple of other books recently and I found perhaps the investment in plot wasn't matched by character, and so it got hard to read and you got to keep going. That is absolutely not the case here. The women in this group are really well drawn, all different, all got different paths and all got different personalities, and they really come to life. And the reason why you stay with this book and stay with the plot is because you are really drawn into these characters. So don't please think that I'm trying to sell you something light and fluffy, which has a place, commercial fiction, it really does have a place, but this is it is dealing with far bigger issues with far deft craft, and I really applaud Parini for this. This is a great book to read when you're looking for something to just really lift you, when there's a lot of heavy stuff around at the moment, I know, so please have a read of The Bandit Queens because I found it utterly charming.